Welcome to the Red Sox Alley Show. It is August 6, 2013. We're in the studio in Central Connecticut with Flanagan to my right, Corn to my left. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Hi,
evening.
guys. How you doing?
Good.
Mr. Gordon, how are you?
I'm
Mr.
good.
Flanagan, how are you today?
Finally.
Yeah.
We've got an awful lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. Flanagan joined us this time.
I know. Well, and you know, he joins us for the biggest shows, for
Yeah.
the biggest news.
That's the only time I'm going to show up.
Yeah. We were really good without you. I mean,
You were good.
yeah.
Not as good as with me, but you were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We held our own.
Yeah,
held our own.
absolutely.
All
Actually,
right.
it was very cool watching you guys at the. You guys were at the Fan Fest
Yeah, the
for the
Fan
All-Star
Fest.
game, so I watched that show.
Mm.
So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. The performance-enhancing drug situation and the big trade with Jake Peavy coming over.
Mm-hmm.
So let's roll it now. Players that have been suspended, and obviously the one that has appealed, which we'll get to.
Somebody
in a second.
appealed?
Somebody appealed.
Who appealed?
So my question is,
Was it A-Rod?
do you feel any different about this whole situation with performance-enhancing drugs and players, you know, doing them and getting caught or not getting caught, or is it just something that's part of this era that just continues on and on?
I see some good results from it. I think a guy like, say, Dustin Pedroia might not be perceived as a superstar 20 years ago because people paid more attention to the monster that can hit a ball 500 feet and that kind of stuff. And I think they're paying more attention to a real baseball player like him. I think cleaning up the game is having a good result like that. I don't like the way they went about it. You know, I've been vocalizing that to everybody. You know, the Congress being involved in it, and
Yeah.
you know, what does A-Rod, Clemens, and Barry Bonds all have in common? They're all a bunch of big, giant superstars, the multi-billion. You know, we were just talking before. Andy Pettitte is as guilty as Clemens is.
He gets a pass.
He's
somehow.
he's worse. He ratted out on his teammate,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets a pass. So I don't like the way the press went about it and the way the Congress went about it. But I think I'm seeing good results. So
I mean, put it this way: as soon as Manny was implicated in anything, he didn't receive a ban, but he got enough suspension that
Yeah.
right? Enough suspension that once he came back, you knew that nobody was going to pick him up. Nobody wants to deal with it
yeah.
except Texas. Yeah, but what's he doing? He's not there.
I mean, guys like
Right.
AAA.
Yeah, triple.
you know, guys like Pettit. You know, he was smart. He just very quickly admitted it, and it was over. You know, but you know, Clemens got arrogant and Bonds got arrogant, but still the way that, you know, getting Congress involved in it and all that kind of stuff. But again, like I said, with a guy like, it makes guys like Jeter and Pedroia look better than they ever did.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think Congress got involved because, you know, performance-enhancing drugs were used in the high schools and, you know, different levels of that were non-professional.
Yeah. Okay.
And, you know, I think that's kind of why they got involved. But you know, your opinion prior was, you know, look, Babe Ruth had more home runs than all the teams combined. Maybe he was doing something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
The thing is, so you look at it, the whole era was not just forgotten about. And, you know, you see the actions of the Players Association.
Yeah.
You know, they're for HGH testing. You know, baseball is the only sport that does it. They're for random drug tests. So, I mean, as much as possible, the entire sport is behind getting rid of this stuff.
Yeah, I think they're always going to.
Baseball is the one sport that does everything it can to stay clean. I mean,
Now they do.
You know,
I mean, it took a lot.
I mean,
to
football
get to that
doesn't.
point.
I mean, how does we see it every Sunday on the NFL Sunday afternoon? A 350-pound guy running faster than a 110-pound baseball player can.
Right.
I mean, you know he's taking something.
Right.
You know, but they don't. They look the other way. But baseball, they want to make it clean, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But the way they went about it was, I don't know.
Well, I think it was going to be messy regardless because they looked the other way for so long.
Right.
Ownership looked the other way. You know, the managers looked the other way, and I think, you know, the way they went about it was not going to be clean because they were neglectful.
I mean, am I wrong when I say I think every generation of athletes did something?
It's possible.
Well, amphetamines, right,
Yeah.
or uppers, downers.
What did Mantle do when he walked into the clubhouse after one of his overnight binges. I mean, they gave him a handful of amphetamines. Now people say, well, it's not the same as performance.
At that point, it was. At that time, it was.
It was the best
right?
they could do.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So you know, I mean, who doesn't quote unquote cheat? You know.
I don't.
Besides,
as
Flanagan.
you can tell by my performance on the show, I'm not on anything.
You know, you are so good at what you do. I suspect that possibly you may be taking some kind of.
You must have low standards.
I think you're on some mind-altering substance when you come here.
I think you're on mind-altering substance. Let him come here.
That's true. That's true.
So you have the list of 13. Now these guys are knuckleheads. I mean, they went to this place in Miami. You know, they knew what they were doing was wrong. But they did.
Well, that's the nature of this, right?
They did it anyways.
They're always going to try, scientists and whoever else is involved, they're always going to try to be one step ahead of the rules.
Yes.
But they really think that someone wasn't going to find out that they were doing this, going down to the same place, trekking down.
Nobody ever accused A-Rod of being a genius.
I know it's fun to dump on A-Rod. The whole country's doing it, but have you ever seen a man in a public? Have you ever seen anybody act so stupid in your life? Well, every time this guy opens his mouth or does something, he draws up a case against himself.
So now he's going to appeal. This thing's going to get dragged out in some court, and you're just going to hear incredible stuff get taken out into the open. Because there's no way that he did this only for 3 years in Texas. Obviously, that's been proven wrong just now. And there's no way he's going to be able to say, well, that was just one time now with these guys. Because there's only too many times you can say, oh, that was just one time for this particular. So I'm sure if they open this thing up, it's going to be ugly.
Do you think he's going to be like Jose Canseco, start ratting out and fingering people?
I don't think there's anybody.
I don't think so.
I think it's already open.
I think he's the guy. Who else do they want to rat out that's bigger than him? I mean, the guy's 13 home runs from hitting a $6 million bogey. So he's making $29 million this year. He can potentially, if he hits 13 home runs by the end of the year, he would have made $34 million.
Look,
Yankees would love that he hits 13 home runs, by the way, by the end of the year if he's going to be on the field.
He lied on 60 Minutes that he didn't do steroids, which he did. And then he opts out of his contract, and the Yankees are foolish enough to re-up with him for more money, right? Then he joins a group that goes to high school students and high school age kids to tell them not to do steroids, that it's bad for you, and he joins that organization, and now this. And the organization has now distanced themselves from him, you know, and he's just not a trustworthy.
Yeah, and I do not feel.
He's been given so many chances to make himself look like a normal human being who's respectable, and he blows it every time.
And guess what? I don't feel bad for Yankees and Yankee fans, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Red Sox fan. I just remember when that whole deal went down, when the Sox, had basically A-Rod under contract and it was pulled out, and he ended up with the Yankees. There were a lot of Yankee fans that rubbed it in the face, right? Too bad, tough luck. Okay, you made your bed with it, like Gordon is saying here. You signed away with the devil, and that's what you get.
Yep.
You knew what you were signing, and you still did it.
But you
probably profited on it in the meantime. But hey, now you paid a price.
So the Yankees owe him how much right now? 29
for this year. So it's a total of almost 100,000. Then there's kickers. 100 million. Sorry. Whoa. There's kickers for milestone home runs along the way. So,
right. So if this suspension goes through, and let's say they reduce it, and he plays this year and he's suspended for next year, I mean, that's a possibility. Do the Yankees have any kind of argument where they could say, well, then his salary for next year shouldn't count against the cap because we're not paying him?
It's all based on the collective bargaining agreement. If he's suspended, he's still going to get paid, right?
No, not suspended without pay for this infraction.
I'm sorry, but while he's appealing, he gets paid.
Yeah.
This thing could drag out for 6 months.
But let's say for the sake of argument that they say you're suspended for 2014, and he goes, okay. He doesn't get paid during that time.
Okay.
Do the Yankees?
They can't pull the contract.
What's that?
They can't pull the contract. Is that where you're going?
Well, I'm saying, let's say he doesn't get paid for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that the Yankees' salary cap, then the luxury tax threshold is now reduced by that amount?
For that year?
I'm not sure about that.
For that year, yeah, because they're not paying him that year.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think under suspension, I'm not totally positive that you can now go out and spend $29 million.
I'm not either. I'm not positive.
And that's, I think, what some of this is going on. That's an issue there with A-Rod appealing, and now he gets paid when he's playing. And I think that counts against their cap next year.
Well, no,
he gets.
Counts, there's no cap, but it counts
Or,
as a luxury tax.
Right. That's what I.
Yeah.
He gets to pay while
cap,
he's appealing.
right.
But once it's a final judgment and he's suspended next year, he doesn't get paid while he's suspended.
He doesn't get paid, but I think his numbers count against the payroll numbers,
so, too.
Really?
luxury tax.
At least,
We need to look into that a little bit more, but I think that's the
I think
case.
there's going to be an argument on the Yankees saying, look, we should be able to take our luxury tax threshold, subtract out that $29 million or whatever, and spend it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where Buck Showalter
would
from the
think
Texas Rangers was saying is, whoa, it doesn't. Baltimore, sorry. Wait a minute here. This isn't like you get to redo this thing. It's your problem. You signed this contract that ended up being with this guy. I mean,
agree.
it's sorry.
So, sort of a similar situation as far as financial. Not the situation is really different, but financially, I'm going to draw a parallel. You can tell me if I'm crazy.
You're crazy.
1986, Celtics draft Len Bias. 2-3 days later, he dies of a cocaine overdose.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they were coming off a championship. They wanted to build a team around them. You know, Bird was getting old, McHale was getting old, blah, blah, blah. My recollection is that the Celtics had the salary cap in place with the NBA. The Celtics were not able to spend that money for that next year, that it was committed to Len Bias.
I don't know. I've never heard.
No, he didn't get paid.
I've never heard this.
I don't remember them getting any cap relief, which kind of made it even worse because not only did they lose the player they were planning on building a team around, and they were looking at Len Bias, from what I read, they were looking at him for 3 years, and he was part of the Red Auerbach camp, you know, as far as the kids' camp, and they were not able to spend that money, and they signed him to a pretty lucrative deal, from what I know. They weren't able to spend the money, even though he passed away. So I don't know.
Who got the money? Did they sign?
No, it's not that.
It's
not that the money gets paid out. It's whether or not it counts against your numbers, your salary
so
numbers.
Does that free up? If Len Bias's, let's say his salary was $2 million at that time, he passes away. Do the Celtics then are they able to take that $2 million and spend it on someone else?
What if John Lackey retired this year? It's going to count.
Retirement is different.
I think it's different.
Mm-hmm.
But if he got suspended without pay, what's the difference? They're not paying him.
You did something to get yourself suspended. I think that's part of the punishment. The part of the punishment,
so
we're also going to go
punish
your team.
For the guy, yeah.
And did the Yankees get rewarded for this? I mean,
they would love, right? They would love to be free and clear of $29 million or 25. This is the peak year. I don't know how many years it's at 29, but it does fall off a little bit.
Right.
Let's talk about the Red Sox.
Okay.
What do you guys think of that trade?
What was your first reaction to the trade?
My first reaction was I didn't like it because I thought they're letting go of a superstar, Iglesias. But it tells me they're committed to winning this year. And hey, you know what they say about pitching?
Yep.
You can never have too much pitching.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My thought was
they got another starter. I guess if Bogart's as good as they say he is, you know, you never know. But hopefully it'll work out.
Right.
So.
My thought was they haven't had a steady shortstop for a long time, for more than a year or two. And they finally have a guy who's going to blossom into being a real superstar, who's a magician on the field. And I agree, he's probably the best fielding shortstop in baseball.
Yeah.
And now they get rid of him.
Well, yeah.
They want to win this year.
But with the ability to get Peavy, and Buchholz may or may not be a factor until whenever, like you were pointing out before we came on the air, Flanagan. I guess I'm okay with it. But you're going to see him on SportsCenter.
I was okay with it from the first minute, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Yeah, I like Peavy. I know he's got some injury issues the last few years, right? But more than that is if you're looking at when was the last time they had a superstar shortstop?
Nomar?
Right.
Yeah.
Did they win the World Series with him?
No.
Did they win World Series after that with these one-year shortstops that they had? Yes.
Well, they had Cabrera in 04.
Yeah.
And then they had who they have in 07?
Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Right? So all these guys were 1 year, and I think they figured that I don't know if you need a superstar at shortstop.
I heard this guy
The Bogarts guy has got to be a real deal.
I heard he's even better. That's what
Yeah.
That's what you're hearing.
So I think what they did.
I heard he's a better hitter.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going. Is they sold at a high. This was selling your stock at a high. Great. Sometimes you hold on to your stock, and maybe 5 years from now, it appreciates tremendously. But you're saying, you know what? I got a little peak here. I'm going to sell here while the going's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it had been last year, what would they have gotten for him last year? Batting whatever he was batting, 202, 180, whatever it was. Nothing.
Right.
Sell at a high. He's a commodity. He's got name out there now, and you do it.
Yeah, PV locked up for next year as well.
Yeah,
right.
And, they're going to have they got at least 4. They got 5 solid starters now.
Mm-hmm.
If Buchholz makes a comeback, they'll have 6 starters.
Yeah, and if you can get into the playoffs, and you have Lester, who seems to more or less have righted the ship. You've got Lackey, who's had a tremendous season.
PV,
and Buchholz, and then you can bring
and Dubront
as your. I mean, you've got 3, maybe 4 that can easily. I mean, that's a pretty nice rotation.
Well, Dubront, PV, and Lackey, you got yourself a good. That's those guys are good.
Yeah. And then
Lester, I mean, he's coming around.
Although didn't pitch that great last time.
Yeah.
But then bullpen-wise, you got a lot of young arms. You got Stephen Wright, you got Workman.
Who I thought was a comedian, but he apparently is on the Sox.
Stephen Wright, who talks like this.
Yeah. I bought some used paint. It was in the shape of a house.
I get it.
I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden I couldn't see. My prescription ran out. No, it's a different Stephen Wright.
Okay.
The other Stephen Wright is from Boston, though.
All right.
Yeah, he is from Boston.
But you guys know how.
By the way, Drake Britton, he's good too. Tazawa, I'm kind of not sure about anymore.
He's 38 years old, though, isn't he?
No, that's Uehara.
Uehara.
That's Uehara. Tazawa.
Hui.
Yeah, Tazawa is. He's young. I'm not really sure about him lately.
Whatever is Aceva still with the organization? I haven't seen him.
I believe he is.
In the minors.
He's in the minors. Yeah. Not only that, but they needed a spot in the 40-man roster, so they took his. And he passed through waivers, went back to Pawtucket. So anybody could have grabbed him, and nobody did.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you?
He's
not even on the 40-man.
He's a head case.
Yeah, I don't think he's eligible for the playoff roster unless they put him on the 40-man before September 1st, before rosters expand.
Yep.
And nobody wanted him. Why not? Every team passed. I don't get it. The guy can pitch. He might be a little bit of a head case, but
Tazawa was born in
86.
Right? Tazawa was born in 86.
Spot start, send him down.
Tazawa's 27.
27.
Oh, wow. Is that his prime?
Yep.
But can't you guys hear it now? I guess 3-4 years from now, Iglesias turns out to be a superstar.
It's not the first time.
They'll be whining and moaning about how they got rid of him and everything.
Who's the shortstop that we got rid of to get Beckett? Who ended up, leading the major in
Cabrera?
No, he's with Toronto now, right? No.
Hanley Ramirez.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he led the NL in hitting.
But they won a world championship because of Beckett.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody likes to admit that because they don't like Beckett, but
exactly.
No Josh
Beckett.
I'm saying.
I think
no 2007 World Series.
Yeah, they liked Josh Beckett at one time when he was unhittable in the postseason.
Exactly.
At one time they liked him.
Exactly.
We liked him.
Yeah.
Funny how that is, huh?
Oh yeah, they'll turn on you on a dime.
Yep. Oh, congratulations to Daniel Nava. His wife had a baby. He's on paternity leave.
Oh,
he's
great.
not in Houston. How could they not score runs last night? Anybody? 2-0 against Houston?
Yeah, I don't know.
They were on last night.
They wasted a performance by Lackey looked pretty good.
And he's great ERA.
Well, that's why you play. That's why you play
Yeah.
162 times, guys.
Right.
At the end of 162, whoever's ahead is ahead.
I mean, even though Houston's the worst team in the league by a bit, they still win 37 times this year.
I got a friend of mine who's always he gets all upset when they lose and everything. I go, you got to watch some other games. You got watch Sunday night baseball or something and find out that other teams lose 1-0 by a crappy team sometimes too, and they make errors or they make the management. Yeah. Houston's won 30. They've won 37 times. They must have beaten somebody other than Boston yesterday.
37. That sounds like a lot. It's like,
They won 37 games this year.
More than days in a month.
They won more games than any NFL team will win.
Yeah. That's true. And Gomes is awesome.
Oh, he's great.
And I hit it on the note. They've won 37 times. I don't know how I picked that number out of thin air, but they've got a 3. They win 1 out of 3. Yeah. So now the Sox just have to win.
So why wouldn't they win last night if they can?
They have to win 1 out of.
Yeah.
Look,
Houston wins 1 out of every
wins
3
the next
games.
2.
If a player has a batting average like their winning percentage, it goes to a batting title.
And Hall of Fame. 333.
How do you get that? How do you hit that double? He gets out 70% of the time.
333. You're in the Hall of Fame. No questions asked.
Yeah.
There aren't too many all-time stats hitting 333.
Yeah, you're for about 15 years. You're good.
What sport? What position of sport you fail 70% of the time? You're a Hall of Famer. Isn't that amazing?
Great point.
A hitter.
I mean, even a quarterback, completes 55-60% of his passes if he's good.
Well, I guess hockey player doesn't get a goal every time he slaps the. Right.
Maybe hockey needs to make a new statistic. The average number of goals per shot.
Maybe they do have that.
I think they have that stat. Yeah. I'm sure they have that stat.
20% is leads the league?
I'm sure. Yeah. A goal after 5 shots? Yeah,
how many broken teeth versus goals does each hockey player have?
Goals per broken teeth. That might not
broken
be a stat.
jaws.
That might be a betting line.
How about that? What's his name? Bergeron. He had a broken collarbone, a broken jaw, or something. They signed him to an 8-year contract.
And a hole in his lung.
Yeah.
and Buchholz can't get out there with a sore neck.
Wait, so are we?
That is the comparison.
They are.
That is the comparison to people.
Baseball players are a bunch of candy asses.
Well, hold on. Are we?
Oh, he threw a tennis ball on the sidelines for 15 minutes. He's scheduled for another one 6 days from now. And Bergeron's playing in the NHL with busted, broken bones.
But are you guys abandoning Buchholz now?
No. We just think he's a mental case.
He might be. Yeah, he might be. I don't know.
Blaming the Red Sox.
No, they baby these baseball players. Come on.
But people are blaming the Red Sox for not forcing him to get a second opinion earlier. Because a second opinion, whether it was made a day after he said, "I'm still not feeling well," or a month later, would have said the same thing. Go out and pitch. Nothing's going to happen. You feel a little discomfort. Go out and pitch.
Isn't it any different than a guy that comes back from ACL, like in basketball, where, Derrick Rose this year, they were on his case because everybody was saying he's good to go, and only when you're mentally ready to go are you ready to go, and maybe part of the injury is mental. That's true, but what are you going to do? Throw the guy out there and then he blows up and he wrecks his whole career because you want to rush him 2 weeks early?
This wasn't going to happen with Buchholz. It was just minor whatever it was, and I'm not a doctor, and I didn't stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. But it was just a minor thing that was proven by the doctors, by a second doctor, and said, look, just get out there. And the Jake Peavy or John Lester or whatever would have been out there. It was a minor thing. It was just something that was nagging.
Why doesn't he want to pitch?
He wants to make sure he's 100% healthy. He's not the guy like.
He's a nutcase.
He's not like Schilling used to be. I'm going to get out there regardless. It's just a little. Okay, it hurts me a little bit. I'm going to go out and pitch. He's not like you can name more pitchers than I can. Of pitchers who say, look, I'm in a little discomfort. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to go out and pitch.
Right.
And he's not like that. He does not have that makeup, and that's not going to.
He's delicate. He's delicate.
That's not going to help him in this.
You ever look at his eyes when he's interviewing him? He looks like a freaking axe murderer or something, doesn't he?
But
he's got those big psycho eyes.
Good stuff.
Yeah. He's a mental case.
I think if you look at overall.
I think he's timid.
Okay, that's fine. I think if you look at somebody's career on a whole, and if somebody's career took a 2-month stop for him to be, get his head in the game and then pitch lights out for the final 4 weeks of the season, I'm good with that.
I'm okay with that. I just think he should be out there now.
And guess what?
Out there weeks ago.
Picking up Jake Peavy, if anything, says to him, hey, we'll go out and get somebody else if we need to. So, I don't know.
I think
you guys are abandoning him way quicker than I am.
I'm not abandoning him. I just think there's something wrong with the guy.
I've seen him pitch more terrific games in the past 3 years, and I admit he's a great pitcher when he's on the mound. I see you. I see you doing that. The monitor is right there. I looked at
How
the
come?
monitor, I could see
How
it.
come you see guys on the DL for? I don't remember that one. Do you remember that when you were a kid, seeing a player on the DL for 2-3 months? And I'm not exaggerating about the tennis ball thing. I mean, he threw from 50 feet, for 10 minutes. That's part of his rehab.
Didn't you do that on the front lawn about 10 minutes ago?
Well, the funny thing
Give him a yo-yo. I mean, he'll stand there with a yo-yo.
when you hear about
get
freak
his hand in
injuries,
shape.
like they were playing two-hand touch with their kid and they broke their collarbone.
Does that count against the luxury tax?
It should.
I just think you have to
I mean,
accept that players have different makeups, and you have to weigh whether or not you want to keep them and keep them on the team, given that one player with two players with the same injury, one's going to stay out there and one's not.
Otherwise, you come back a little too early.
do you think there was a time where the manager? Do you think there was a time when the manager would just pencil a guy in, and he
Say tough luck.
tough luck, and he
You're
figured
playing.
it out?
I'm
He
sure
he
there was
played
a
hurt?
time.
I think there's a time where a manager said, "Buckle's fine. You're on the roster. You
Right.
don't want to pitch. You're at the end of the bench for the next 3 months, and he won't see you." If it happened to Bill Lee, it's happened. Look, you're at the end of the bench. I don't really care about you.
But then there was a time when they
You're-
did that, and it was
yeah.
bad for the people's career or the whole concussion thing. How many fingers I have up? 2. 2 fingers. You're fine. Go out and play.
Yeah. Yaz didn't hit a home run for a year at one point in his
Mhm.
career. His wrist was twice the size of his other one. He'd wrap it up and go out and play.
Mm.
He could still throw. He could still hit. He could still run. He could still steal a base.
Okay, so
You know,
let's take. I'm not gonna.
I'm not saying that was right either. Okay, but it went from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, now the guy's got you got to be practically diapering these guys.
Yeah, there's probably a middle road somewhere, right?
How you doing, Buckholz? You okay? Oh, you got a
You had a rough day today.
You had an owie? You having a bad hair day?
What kind of Band-Aid? Do you want a
Yeah.
little Muppets Band-Aid
Yeah.
today?
Here,
Smurfs?
you're going to
Muppets? Oh, yeah,
clubhouse
they've got
with
'em all.
with your binky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get some of those Muppet Band-Aids.
They have Muppets.
Muppet Band-Aids?
Princess.
Wow.
Yeah. My kids have a lot of Band-Aids. You know what? That's what I'm saying. It starts with the parents.
Wait, does that mean that you're abusing those
Back
kids?
in our day.
You're abusing those kids?
No.
Is that why
I
I
mean,
so many Band-Aids?
but you know what it is? It starts with the parents. You buy them Band-Aids for whatever issue comes up.
So Buckholz's parents might have been giving him Bambi.
We're gonna blame.
Band-Aids.
I'm blaming his parents.
Hey,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I skinned that meat. My mom would spray that mercurochrome on it. It would sting me for 5 days. But
Yeah.
I went out there and still
That's
did
right.
running bases.
That's right.
You'll live.
I remember,
I remember hearing that all the
was
time.
Good stuff.
You'll live.
Is
Feel the
it-
burn. That means it's working.
Yeah, isn't it like child abuse now for you? That stuff?
I used to go to my mother. She'd look at the scrape. Yeah, you'll live. I go to my neighbor's house. Say the same thing. Yeah, you'll live.
Yeah, here's some soap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
what was that? Mercurol?
Mercurochrome or
Mercurochrome.
There's some other stuff.
The red stuff, right?
I,
Yeah.
I knew somebody who played
Mercurochrome.
WD-40. Good enough. A little bit of 3-in-1 oil was in WD-40. Lubricate that knee right up. It's gonna go right
It's
back.
got a
That's
lot
right.
of uses.
You're right. It does. So you saw our little video, Flanagan, that Korn and I went to the All-Star Fan Fest in New York. We actually went to New York. Korn and I and our friend Ron Dresner,
Yep.
of Dennis PR. The
How
Mets
was
fan.
that? How was the fan fest?
Well, it was okay. It was geared a lot for kids, which is good. You know, and a lot of vendors.
Oh,
were
so
there.
you had a great
I
time.
had a great time. Yeah.
They did.
And,
They did.
I thought there'd be more
Feeling
Hall of Fame type stuff
Yeah.
there. I thought that they had a little Hall of Fame exhibit. They had Jackie
I heard,
Robinson's jersey and stuff, but I thought there'd be maybe more of that
Yeah.
stuff.
I heard you found a locker of some sort.
I found a locker of Andy Pettit's locker was there. I don't know what that was doing
That
there.
was part of the one of the memorabilia vendors.
Hmm.
They wanted to show the Yankee stuff that they had, so they set
Yeah.
up a wooden locker.
Well, there's
You know,
an
we did
actual locker of
Yeah.
the Yankee pitcher Andy Pettit
Now,
sitting
now
there.
we shot a little video, which is on our Facebook page, but it's not on YouTube because I don't want to offend anyone. Don't call us; it was just a joke. But it's on our
If
Facebook
you
page.
offend somebody, you could just give them a Band-Aid.
like a
Muppet.
Elmo Band-Aid.
Elmo.
Look, I'm not going to be politically correct when it becomes to the Yankees, okay?
Right. Well, so it's on our Facebook page. If anybody wants to see it, you'll see Korn. Well, you can tell them what you said.
Well, I said I was looking for a bathroom, and I thought that maybe this locker would get good use as a latrine.
It was the right size.
Right size.
Yeah.
It looked like an outhouse, you know.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I mean, and it was Andy Pettit, you know, the guy that ratted out his teammates
Right.
to get off the steroid thing. To, you know, I mean, the guy's a dirtbag.
He's a real man because he stepped up. He stepped up and
He stepped up.
said he.
Stepped up, ratted out his teammates. I mean, yeah.
You know,
So we saw
all is forgiven.
All is forgiven.
We saw quite a few Hall of Famers giving autographs.
Class act.
A bunch of.
Sorry.
ESPN Radio was broadcasting there. MLB was broadcasting. We saw Raleigh Fingers, Frank Thomas,
Bert Campaneris, who was charging.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So,
Charging.
So the autographs were free. They had like 3 different areas where they had autographs, and they had a schedule of who was there. Juan Marichal,
George Foster was there too.
Foster was,
He was charging.
Yeah. So
What are these guys? Johnny Mansell?
You got to hear about this. You got to hear about this. So there 3 or so areas were free. The lines were very long, and then we came across this table, and it said George Foster, Bert Campaneris, and there was one other. I'm trying to think who it was. Was it Andre Dawson?
Might have been, yeah.
Okay. So Bert Campaneris is there, and there's a price list. This is a fan fest. People are signing for free. Why is there a price list? And basically it was, if you wanted to buy a ball signed by Bert Campaneris, it was just a plain old baseball, you know, maybe the Rawlings official league, like the one right here in the middle, that was $20. But if you wanted them to sign an authentic MLB Rawlings ball, like one of these, or on the side, that was $40.
$40.
Wow.
For an autograph of Bert
And
Campaneris.
it wasn't even like, you know, he said, "Oh, hi, Rob, I'll sign this for you," and you know, he'll sign it personally for you or anything like that. Shake your hand. It was just like, $40. Yeah, here's one, and they just gave it to you because it was all pre-signed.
Oh, so you didn't even get the joy of watching him sign the ball that you were about to
could've
read.
And saying, "Do you play baseball? Did you go to Little? Do you like baseball? You
Yeah, right.
None of that stuff.
Now you could talk.
Are you a Red Sox fan? Are you a Yankees fan?
Like Bert Campaneris was there,
Yeah.
so you could talk to him, but it was so impersonal. And I was like, at a fan fest, why do they have somebody charging for something? If somebody wants to go and buy an autograph picture of Derek Jeter, they can go to the Steiner Sports table. But if somebody's signing, I don't get it. They had 3 autograph sessions with other players.
Right, and you can, if they're worried about, you know, vendors going through and trying to get as many signatures as possible, you can control that. You can.
I wouldn't pay for
limit
anybody's
them,
autograph.
right.
No.
Would you? Would you pay for?
I'm
an
gonna be
autograph?
honest. I don't think I've ever paid for an
No.
autograph, and I don't even collect autographs. I don't wear jerseys. I usually don't. You know.
Why would you pay for an autograph?
Yeah.
I mean, we met Louis Tion. I got more out of shaking his hand than I ever did of like seeing. So I got his name on my ticket stub.
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything.
We got Johnny Pesky. We got Billy and Greg Nettles.
But listening to Billy talk with us on the phone was more fun than getting his stupid autograph.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's what, you know, meeting the guy is a blast.
Yeah.
So my opinion of the Fan Fest was this. So I went to the one in Boston in '99, drove up there by myself, and was mesmerized. I think they had to work a lot harder, given that the technology was not then what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And there were more like, it was at the Heinz, and there were different small rooms that they constructed, which you could go in and watch videos. And then they had a Hall of Fame exhibit about the history of baseball in Boston from 1900 on. They had a lot more Hall of Fame stuff that was interesting. There was only one, from what I remember, one radio station broadcasting. You know, and I'm standing there and I'm watching Ernie Banks being interviewed, listening to it, and then I'm seeing Hank Aaron do a clinic.
Oh my gosh!
The kids sitting with the kids.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that at this one. They did have a field where they had fielding practice, but it wasn't as, I don't know, it wasn't as special. I don't know if it's because of the generation of players that are now doing these things, but it just wasn't.
Well, I think the world's.
But,
I think it's different. I think it's changed so much, and I think
yeah, but we didn't see anybody like
technology
Hank Aaron
has
there.
something to do
but
with
they
it.
could have done so much because the technology is there.
Yeah.
They could have done so much more with the Hall of Fame stuff. Now, we sat down at this, it was supposed to be a trivia show, right? And there were bleachers where you could sit, and they had a stage. And what they did was, it turned out that it was mostly Mets because Citi Field hosted the All-Star game, so it was mostly Mets trivia. And they had 4 guys up there, and they did like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire format.
Mm-hmm.
And after 5 minutes, it was boring.
Mm.
It was absolutely boring. I don't remember anything in '99 of the Heinz being boring.
But the questions were boring.
Right.
Right. It wasn't like who did Lou Gehrig replace as a first base? It was more like questions nobody cares about.
Nobody knew the answers.
Like what was
Like they asked 6 questions in a row. Nobody knew the answers.
Yeah. It wasn't a historical question. It was more like I'm trying to think of an example. I can't even think of an example. They were so obscure.
Yeah. They were so obscure we can't even think of them.
That's pretty obscure.
That's pretty obscure.
Yeah.
What color
Especially
was it?
you remember all sorts of.
I remember
tidbits.
important stuff. Yeah.
By the way,
that says it all.
Most importantly,
You say something?
At the All-Star Fan Fest, the food wasn't that good. Most importantly, the food was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there wasn't that much.
Wait, this was at
Where
was it?
Javits. Javits, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not that good there.
Well, no, they had food. They had baseball-themed food like cheesesteaks and hot dogs. And that kind of thing. It was okay. But the kids were lined up to do batting practice and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it looked fun.
They had batting cages and stuff, and
you didn't have to be a kid to go in the batting cage.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could have gone in there and done it. And I think it was like 50 miles an hour they were throwing.
I don't know.
50. But the lines were like an hour long.
Otherwise known as a fastball for me.
If they had some bigger names there, it might have been more fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, Hank Aaron was at the one in Boston.
Yeah, Ernie Banks, Hank Aaron.
That's-
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Well, Juan Marichal was there. Who else?
Was he?
But then you wonder
Raleigh
if
Fingers.
Yeah.
you wonder though if this generation appreciates some of those guys or not. That's
You wonder if anybody, young kids even know who Hank Aaron was.
But of any place where you're going to bring in Hall of Famers once a year, and MLB is known that the Fan Fest is probably the best event of its type, even if you compare it to this, the NFL Super Bowl experience and that type of thing. And for them in New York, anywhere where you're going to bring big time Hall of Famers, I would think it'll be New York. I mean, that's where you're going to get the most press, the most everything, and it just. Well, it wasn't quite like that.
Maybe a lot of the old Hall of Famers stay away from the press. I don't see a lot of those guys on in the. Do you see them a lot? I don't.
Yeah.
Remember when we were kids? Ken Harrelson would interview Ted Williams, like to be a rain delay or something like that. I don't see a lot of that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't see a guy like Nolan Ryan or.
Well, I think
Willie
you miss out
Mays.
on some of the history lessons that way. If
Yeah.
you're not bringing those guys in.
I think a lot of them shy away from the press. I think it's.
They're getting older.
Yeah.
A lot of them are getting older.
There's got to be a little bit of resentment of the older guys versus the newer guys.
Yeah.
'Cause those guys a lot of those guys, some of them were way better than some of the guys out here
And
now.
they paved the way for the. Yeah.
They paved the way, and they don't have health insurance, or they made little money. It was good at that time, but they weren't set for life.
No.
A lot of these guys are not set for life.
They worked in the off season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see recently was the 25th anniversary of Morgan Magic?
Oh yeah. Why would you celebrate the 25th anniversary of Morgan Magic?
Oh, they won 23 in a row at home.
Yeah.
That's
it. That's all he did. Nothing.
I'm sorry, I was watching Shark Week.
I missed it because I missed the comeback the other night where they were losing.
They should have.
7-2, and they came back and won 8-7. You know why I missed that? I was watching my favorite show.
I called you during that. I said, turn the TV on. What's the matter with
I
you?
turned out at the end. I'm going to tell you what's the matter with me. I was watching my favorite show, Airplane Repo.
You were watching Airplane.
I watch it every Thursday night.
Well, I told you to.
I'm glad you did. I turned it on to see the
I
game
told you
winning
not
hit.
to. Yeah. So you're not watching it. I wasn't watching it.
Sure.
I was doing something. It happened to be on. I wasn't watching. All of a sudden, it's 7-3. Who cares? 7-4. Who cares? 7-5. 7-7.
Hey, listen. If you're ever a major league manager and you go out to the mound, raise the correct arm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Did you
right.
see that?
Yes.
They could overrule them, and the umpires didn't. No, we're not going to give
That was a big mistake. That was a big mistake.
We're not gonna give that to you. You raise your left hand. Bring that left hander in.
That'll teach you to be.
And there were no
fucking
errors. I
man.
mean, it was all hits they got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for calling me.
Yeah, that was something. 6 runs and
Why would you celebrate Morgan Magic? 23 in a row.
That's not-
They fired the manager of the All-Star
They
break
should've-
and they win the AL East.
they should have lost the AL East. They wouldn't have been humiliated by Oakland in the postseason.
Go on. It was exciting. Fans were into it. So what? They won 23 in a row at home.
Hmm.
Wow.
Wouldn't that count for something?
It should count for
Morgan
something.
Magic. Walpole Joe. What did he do in the offseason? He drove a snowplow.
That's right.
Even when he was coaching.
Thank God he's back at that. They finally got good managers and good owners and
Yeah.
you know. I
Hey,
mean,
look.
Tom Yawkey, God bless him.
Driving
What's he doing in the Hall of Fame?
Driving that snowplow in the middle of the night builds character.
And he was a character.
He is a character. He was there.
Oh yeah, he was a
Yeah,
character.
Yeah.
Who else do they have back there? John McNamara before him. Who do they have before McNamara? Oh, Zimmer. Don Zimmer.
Kevin Kennedy.
It's terrible.
Ralph Houck.
Until Francona came along, it was awful.
How
Ralph
quickly
Houck.
we forget.
Yeah, Ralph Houck.
Ralph Houck. He was all right.
He was at the end of his career.
What's his name was okay. The one that was 1998, 1990, Jimmy Williams.
Yeah, Mr.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Marbles.
He was all right. But until Francona, I don't remember a good manager.
Winning a World Series or two will do that for you.
Yes.
That's true.
Well, Farrell's a good manager.
Farrell's
I think.
He's
they
really
really want
good.
to play for him.
Yeah.
They really want to play for him.
I think that's probably what makes a good manager now.
Yeah.
You know.
He's really good. Very impressed.
Good choice. He and Sherrington's. I mean, look, Sherrington's got to be executive of the year. Don't you think so? In baseball, with the
When was the last time a team?
Well,
Look,
you got somebody called the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, the last to first.
Yeah.
With the
69
guys,
wins last
with the
year.
guys-
Yeah.
With the guys that he signed, which were not superstars. I mean, look, you know Johnny Gomes, not a superstar.
They have a bunch of dirt dogs, right?
Yeah.
So this is,
Oh, look, Napoli. Okay, he's good.
You guys ready to make some?
He hadn't played first base.
You guys ready to make another prediction? You make.
No. The last time we did that, they went on a swoon.
David Ross was going to be back soon.
Is he?
Yeah, he's with the team now. He'll be back soon. Yep.
How many wins?
No, I think we did this already. And the last time we tried
What's
this,
the pay? What are
they
what are
went
on
like
pace for right now?
4-8 or something.
What are they on pace to win right now?
Probably about 96, I would think.
96?
98.
Flanagan, you got the stats over there?
Yeah, so let's see if
Yeah,
they've won 500. Their percentage is 596, which puts them, I think, close to 100, right? You got your calculator there.
I do.
Do 162
How do you use
times.
this thing?
Yeah, so while he's doing that.
Dad called. No,
Yeah.
your dad called.
596.
called me.
596, I think, gets you to 97 or 98 wins.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What do I do? 162 times point
0.596.
6? 96.552.
I said 97, right?
Yeah.
I mean, rounding 97.
So let's say 95 wins. They'll win 95 wins.
Yeah, they won't.
How do you know?
I don't know.
It might.
I think they can still get in the playoffs.
You still don't believe they can take the division.
I just think that if I'm going to sit here, well, no, I think I said they were going to win 92 games. I think that's my.
It's
I think
almost
that was
the middle of August, and they're not
last
playing over
time-
their heads anymore.
The last time we
For real.
talked about this, beginning of the season, I said 80. I think I said 84, 82. I don't know. We'll have to pull
I
the
predicted
recording.
500. They'd be a 500 team.
Right.
I remember saying that.
So I might have picked 82 or 84. Yeah. I think the last time we did this, maybe a month ago or so, I picked 92. Or did I keep it 88?
More than a month ago?
More than a month ago.
Yeah.
I think I had it at 88.
I think it was like 2 months ago.
I'm still going to say they're not going to win 90. I'm just waiting for a kind of a swoon here at some point.
What happened last night? They lost to Houston.
Hopefully that's the only swoon they have.
No,
It's
they've
gonna be
had
great.
a swoon this year. They went through some slumps, didn't they?
They've been swept a couple times.
Yeah.
Nothing major, though, I don't think. They haven't only lost 10 in a row.
I just think Tampa
Did I just say
Bay.
that? Did I just say that?
Yeah, that's the thing. The last time we did this, they didn't do too
I
well.
think they're going to win 81
Tampa
games.
Bay. That's perfect.
81 games.
Me too.
I think if they're 500 the rest of the way, It'll be more than 81, so they'll probably be less than 500 the rest of the way.
Well, there's 48 games left, right? They got 68 wins. So if they play 500, that's 92. If they play 500, they win 92 games.
Okay, so they're not going to play 500.
You're saying they're going to play
88.
They're going to play below 500?
81.
You say they play below 500?
Sure, why not? I just think Tampa Bay is
You just
so
got done
good.
saying what a good pitching staff they have now.
I know.
Yeah, come on, which one is it?
You can have a good pitching staff. And you can, by the way, you can still win the World Series by winning 88 or 89 games. Right?
What makes you think they're going to play under 500? All of a sudden they're going to play less than 500 for the rest of the year. What makes you think that?
I'm just waiting for that stretch.
Look, anything can happen. You can never have too much pitching.
No.
And even if you do, you can still play less than 500.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
sure.
going to happen, though. I'm with you.
Not now.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Not at this point.
You could have that one bad month, and there she goes.
Oh, they could lose 10 in a row starting tonight. They get swept by Houston.
Look, they've already lost one. They lose 9. All they got 9 more to go.
Yeah.
That's the not.
We'll put it this way. Or let's say they lost the next 10 games. All right. So now you have 38 games left, and now you've got to play 600 or 750 ball to get to your 92 wins.
You're a really good Red Sox fan. You're
Yeah.
just a real
I'm not being pessimistic. But
and
let me tell you something. Going from 69 to 88 would be a huge accomplishment. I'm not ready to give them 92.
They play 500. They're 92.
Okay.
Look,
And all I have to do is play 2 games under 500, and they'll win 88.
here's what I think they need to do.
It sounds like he wants them to win 88 games.
I know. He wants to.
You just have to have a swing of 2 games, right?
He'd rather be right.
Is a swing of 2 games? Is that what would get you, or is it really a swing of 4 games?
See, I'm humble enough. I'd rather be wrong and see them do well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what they need to do. Hopefully John Farrell is listening. Month at a time. Have a good August. Have a good September. They got to play a month at a time and do well. They can have a great August, and if they do another 7 and 20 September, I don't know what we're going to do.
Each series,
that may happen, but
you win 2 out of 3
All
each
right.
series.
I'm good with that. But I still say a month at a time. If they can be 4, 5, 6 games above 500 for the month of August and do the same thing in September.
Other than Tampa's pitching staff, I don't see anybody in the American League.
That's a big deal.
Well, yeah,
That's
but I
huge.
don't see any other team in the American League better than them.
Right.
I don't know. I
Not Detroit, not
Oakland,
Cleveland. Yeah.
But Detroit's good.
Detroit's good.
They got a great
They're-
shortstop too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they lost a lot of production though.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, what's his name's on the
Peralta.
Peralta.
50 games he got, or
I think
the rest of the year, right?
Huh.
Or is it 50?
I think everybody got 50.
Yeah. And don't forget, until we haven't really said this, but the Yankees had lost a catcher. They lost Cervelli,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a minor leaguer that also got nailed. So the Yankees lost. Well, assuming A-Rod at some point suspended, they lost its catcher too. And Jeter's on the DL again. You gotta mention that.
does anybody feel sorry for them?
I think because Jeter's on the DL, his salary shouldn't count towards the luxury tax. That's what I think. Give him a break. Let him
A
spend
whole
more
lot of money.
Come on. No, huh?
We've had bad years too. I didn't see any Yankee fans giving us sympathy. And
No.
I don't see any Yankee fans. Do you? You ever notice that?
yes.
Whenever the Yankees are in first place, you see all the caps and the jerseys and the sweatshirts,
No, I don't know.
and they
Yeah,
kind of
I-
disappear when I was telling a Yankee fan, I don't have to look at the standings. I'll just look for the caps all over the place.
Walk down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want
So-
the Red Sox had last year.
They're in fourth.
That worked.
They're in fourth place. You don't see them.
It was hard to wear my Red Sox hat last year, but it worked.
It was hard for Bobby Valentine to wear his Red Sox cap last year too.
Yeah, you're not kidding. But those days are over. All right, so we got, was it 2 more with Houston, and then on to
Yep.
Arizona? Is
Mhm.
that what it is? On to
Think so.
Arizona?
Kansas City,
Kansas City.
and then Toronto.
Okay.
But they're going out west again. They're playing San Francisco and somebody else.
Kansas City has a decent team.
They're playing San Francisco. Maybe.
Dodgers? No.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
Yes. Dodgers and the Giants are playing in a couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
They're playing Kansas City, then they're playing Toronto, then they're coming back to Fenway to play the Yankees, and then I think they're going out west after that.
Mm-hmm.
Flanagan's uncovering this
I know.
mystery
Yes,
here.
I am. I'm a
I
trusty.
charge him for internet access by the hour. So yeah, we have to conclude soon.
Oh boy, this is. I thought they would set it up in like a calendar. Can I look at
You know,
calendar here?
Isn't it RedSox.com as a calendar?
Yeah, I thought so. What's today's date? The 6th? Okay, so. Yeah. This must. Okay, Astros, Royals, right.
Then Toronto, right?
Next 3 days. Jeez. Royals. It's a 4-game? And then.
Well, he's usually much more on the ball.
Yeah, this is weird.
Well, he's mad at us. We yelled at him because he's
Blue
the Red Sox going to win 88
Jays.
games this year.
Blue Jays.
RedSox.com and then schedule.
Yeah, that's where I went. Yeah, and then Toronto. Yep.
And then they're back at Fenway for the Yankees, right?
Yep.
After that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jeter's back.
No. When do they go to the West Coast?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I don't. They changed something on the site here.
That's weird though. It's like a 6-game West Coast.
Dodgers, yeah. Yep. Yeah, so there you have it.
You want to bring it up
That was good
on the
enough.
big screen?
Sure, bring it up on the
Right,
big
it's a
screen.
knuckler, a knuckleball.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, where did you get that?
I've got the Red Sox schedule calendar up on the big
Giants
screen.
and Dodgers.
Right, Giants for 3 starting on the 19th, and then an off day on the 22nd. They get the Dodgers for 3. It looks like it's August 25th, Sunday Night Baseball. Red Sox,
Yep.
Dodgers. Yep.
And then they go
they're back against the Orioles.
Interesting month.
Yeah, not bad. Much easier to look at than this way compared to the way Flanagan was doing. It took an hour.
Yeah.
Well, Flanagan was reading it to us, which was even more
must-
painful.
Right. You must be on a different website.
I must be.
He was on the Red Sox official
Oh,
Red Sox
wait,
site.
no, yep, you're right.
You're on MLB
You're on
probably.
Yep. Terrible. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they show a calendar with every team's games. You
It's
probably
great.
won't be able to read it.
Well, yeah, that's
It'll
exactly what's
the
happening.
letters will be on top of each other.
Boy, I failed miserably.
I know.
That's
All
okay.
right, closing remarks.
As long as you learn
closing-
something.
Closing topic, anyone? We're good?
Yep, we're good.
Good.
All right, well, thanks everyone for watching on YouTube. Check out our show on Stitcher, on our website, www.redsoxalley, and join on redsoxalley.com, and join us on Facebook, facebook.com/redsoxalley. Anything else? Email redsoxalley@comcast.net, and let us know what you think, especially on Facebook and on Twitter, @RedSoxAlley. Thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great night. Thanks, guys.
Hashtag good night.
Good night.
Good night. I think I'll cue the music.